Howdy folks, and welcome back to the PI Guy channel. In this video I will discuss the pros, the cons, and the controversy regarding front seat surveillance. As many of you know, for many private investigators, surveillance is the meat and potatoes of the business. In fact, for the most part, when people think of a private investigator, this is exactly what they imagine. Some random guy sitting in the front seat of his car with a camera sticking out of the window. And if this is what you as a private investigator do while on surveillance, well, you may be doing it wrong. Now, there is a huge controversy out there amongst PIs as to where you should sit, where you should be positioned inside your surveillance vehicle. And I will tell you one thing, if you ask enough surveillance investigators, you will find out there are many PIs out there that get quite emotional about this topic as well. Generally speaking, it is considered taboo in many cases to sit in the front seat while doing surveillance. But what I have discovered is this feeling is among the more veteran PIs who have been doing surveillance for 20, 30, 40 or more years. The most common practice for surveillance investigators, and probably one of the safest ways to ensure you remain undetected, is to conduct surveillance from the rear of your surveillance vehicle. From the back seat, you can hunker down more and stay undetected in many cases. And the rear windows can oftentimes have more tinting on them, and it is just easier on the body to sit back there and spread out a little. But there is the problem of going mobile quickly if you are in the back seat. And jumping into the front seat can take some time, especially for us getting up there in age. When I first started as a surveillance investigator, I conducted surveillance from the back seat on almost every single case I worked. I had an older Pontiac Grand Prix which had a low, flat center console and the front seats laid down almost completely flat. With that car, it was very easy for me to lay my seat down quickly and literally roll over and move into the rear seat. And getting back to the front was almost as easy. I could get into the rear seat from the front or from the rear back into the front within a few seconds. So when my subject would go active, I would just find a good cutoff point for my video, then jump into the front seat, then continue shooting the video if needed. Then there is the factor of pulling down window blackouts, sunscreens, curtains, and the time involved with all of that. Perfect timing is of the essence in order to get a good follow on your subject once they go mobile. So adding even a few seconds in the process of getting ready to go mobile can be crucial and needs to be considered. Over the years, I have worked up some other processes that allow me to do surveillance, for the most part, from the front seat. Now, if I am doing a long session of stationary surveillance, my preference is the back seat so I can stay the most comfortable and see all of the surroundings around my vehicle a little easier. The process I use is to make blackout foam core cutouts that fit into my surveillance vehicle's side windows. You can get black foam core from your local craft store or you can get them online. I have a link for some that I use on my PI Gear webpage on the PI Guy website, and I will leave a link for that page below. The main thing you want to do is make sure the foam core is bigger than the window. Then you just hold that up to your window with the window down, trace the outline of the window, then cut it out. It doesn't have to look perfect. In fact, if you have some holes in the corners or sides, that is great. So then you can see out of them and you can shoot video out of them. Now, I like to have one for each window and I customize the size a little. This takes some practice, but the cool thing is, even if it looks horrible, once it is in place, no one will ever see it. When they are in place from the outside of a tinted window, the window just appears reflective. I also like to attach a cloth or heavy string with some glue to the top inside of each one so I can quickly just grab those and pull the blackouts down when I need to go mobile. I also like to use a black cloth hanging on a clothing bar in the back seat behind me. Then I use a sunscreen in the front windshield. Doing this, whether I am in the front seat or the back seat, puts me in a virtual black box and no one can see inside. Unless, of course, you have electronics or other gadgets lighting up the inside of your surveillance vehicle, like a laptop screen, a cell phone, things like that. Then there will be visible light from the outside, to be sure. And you have to be cautious about using those devices no matter what. So you don't want to make yourself visible, and you want to keep your eyes and your mind focused on the surveillance. Now, what are the cons to sitting in the front seat? Well, the first big consideration for me is health issues. Sitting in one position, back bent at the same angle, legs bent at the same angle, pressure points on the lower legs as well as the back can lead to health concerns. I know PIs out there who have gotten blood clots from sitting too long, day in and day out, as well have back problems or pinched nerve issues due to the daily grind of conducting surveillance. I myself can't sit in a car all day anymore without some of those issues arising, and yes, of course, age does play a role into it. So sitting in the back seat, you have a lot more mobility. You can change your position, you can keep your blood flowing, and your muscles working a lot easier. When you position yourself in the back seat with most cars, you also have a much better 360-degree view of all of your surroundings. And it is a lot easier to watch out the back window from the back seat than from the front seat. If you are in the front seat watching behind you, then you are watching the mirrors, most likely. So you have to turn around and get into a new position to shoot video when activity occurs, or shoot through the mirror, which is not ideal to say the least. Sitting in the front seat, though, makes going mobile so much easier and quicker. Not only do you not have to jump up into the front seat and get repositioned, but you also don't have to reorient yourself or reposition your equipment. If I am sitting in the front seat, I have a place on the passenger seat for each piece of equipment I have. I have a place where I set my camera and tripod so I can grab it easily when I need. I have a place where I keep my cover sheet so I can grab it quickly to reference photos, addresses, license plates, and other crucial pieces of data. I have a spot where I keep my covert cameras so I can grab and go if I need to quickly head out on foot surveillance. Also, I have a place where my phone goes for easy access to it as well. Having a spot for everything and using the same location for every surveillance is vital so you know where everything is and can access it quickly. Now, you can use an equipment case like this one as well, where you can customize the foam interior to fit all of your equipment. From my experience, those work pretty well, and I have a link for one of those that I prefer on my PI Gear webpage, which I have a link for that site down below. Another huge advantage, though, in using the rear seat is when you need to, well, use the facilities. No matter what system you use, male or female, well, folks, it is just plain easier when you have more room to take care of business. So where would I recommend for you to sit during surveillance? Well, folks, listen up. Here is the big secret. It is going to depend on what works best for the situation you are in and what you are most comfortable with. If you have always worked from the back seat, then there probably is no reason to move to the front seat. No need to reinvent the wheel, and what works for you, well, it works for you. If you are worried about people seeing you, if you are a little nervous about your location, if you need to see your surroundings a lot more, then the rear seat is probably where you want to be. If you have good blackouts and tinting and are comfortable with the cover they provide, and it makes the most sense for you to sit in the front seat, then by all means, you should do that. Bottom line, every case is going to be different. Every surveillance is going to be unique. Every situation is going to require you to evaluate it on its own merits, and many times you may have to make those decisions on the fly. And for the bonus tip, folks, if you want to know what rookie surveillance mistakes you should avoid, then you want to check out this video.